Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo Channel. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I got caught up on Facebook. You just scrolling, waiting for the time, and before you know it, like you would just wasted a half an hour. It's like you lose time and space. It's really bad, you know? And I wanted to go on late because, people are on YouTube all over the world. So, for those of you that live in Australia, it's good morning, and it's actually a day ahead of where we are in the United States. So I want to tap into everybody. So, you know, hi, welcome. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading, so I look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play as karmic themes, to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is, because God knows when you're connected to a karmic mate. Hey, sunshine. Yeah, when you're connected to a karmic mate, they say one thing, they do something else. We feel something and we actually know something. And when I say know, I'm saying from a claircognizance. Hey, Debbie, claircognizance perception, which is, I don't know how I know that. I just know. And so that's the language of spirit. But when you're connected to a karmic, they gaslight, they manipulate, and we get caught up in the story of what the person did. And we're like, you know what? It really doesn't matter about the story. But our ego mind will not let go of what happened. So we ruminate, we ruminate, we ruminate, and we stay mad. When really, if we could look at the situation from a spiritual perspective and see, why is this happening and how am I contributing to the imbalance? Because you can't change that person by saying change. You've probably already talked to them 100 times, and to already explain. And what you see is they say one thing, they do another. And you say, well, if this is my person, why would they do the exact opposite? Why would they deliberately try to get underneath my skin? Well, the universe brings you what you need, not what you want. So we all have spiritual blockages. We're all born into karmic families, societies. We form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with those perceptions. So it's about healing so you can shape shift the energy, since there's many different realities that play out at one time. Why would you choose to stay in a reality that keeps you pissed off? You wouldn't. No one would consciously, right? So once you have the awareness and you understand, well, sometimes you can actually get the person to raise their vibration. Yes, you can, if they're ready to do the work. And other times you raise your vibration so much that the person, you don't even have an attraction anymore. You cut that psychic cord, which is like, I'm over the person, but I can still feel they're corded to me. You wouldn't feel that they were corded to you if you didn't have still a connection to that person. You can't just say, I don't have feelings anymore. It's like it doesn't matter logically that you shouldn't have feelings. It doesn't matter. It's a spiritual thing, which means it's not going to logically make sense, because if it was logically able to be figured out, well, then you would never learn the lesson. You might be like, I'm not learning the fucking lesson now, which if you're not, if you're in a karmic loop, but at least you know that there's a lesson. You're just not getting it. You're not crazy. There's just a lesson that needs to be learned. And that's the whole point. It's like, otherwise, then, you can't come up with the solution. So your mind comes up with one, the reptilian mind, which is going to say, you're defective. It's just not possible. And, it keeps you in a place of lack, limitation, away from your true energy. Your true energy is just unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe. It's the energy that when we're balanced, we're connected to each other. Again, doesn't logically make sense. It's a feeling thing. It's empathy. It's sensitivity. I don't need to know you. but to feel. And that's the thing, it's the language of clairsentient. And when your past life karmic mate, there's clairsentient and there's claircognizance. And that those are the language of spirit. When you say, I have a spiritual connection, that's what you're saying. It's like I have a psychic connection. And how do you know? Well, again, the past life soulmate, it transcends all time and space. How would a person recognize you in this lifetime? You wouldn't. It's just, I have a connection with that person. You don't really know what it is, but it's a spiritual thing. So we look and see what the underlining energy is. The underlining energy just tells us why everyone does what they do. Really important when people are wearing masks, create facades. Invincibility, that's good energy. Invincibility, but I always like to pull another one to see. I'm going to say something in a second. Loneliness. I feel like right now, Virgo, like you are on a path to like succeed within your life and you don't care what it takes. However, it's a lonely path. It's like, so what it is that you may be in connection with somebody, but you're not giving them any energy at all. And the main focus here is I'm gonna have a good life. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how old I am. I don't care what it is. It's about me now. And there's no stopping me. I'm invincible. And I mean, ain't nothing stopping. And that's because there's a lot of pain driving you. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of, especially if you're choosing to be by yourself, because you're saying, like, when I'm really strong, it's when I'm by myself. It's almost like you're in isolation. And this is kind of feeling like you grew up with childhood trauma. And the way that you dealt with that trauma was to go in isolation. That's what children do that don't have support. Well, it's also like you don't really have that much support. And so you're back in isolation because you are focused on what it is that you're trying to achieve. And yes, it's lonely, but it's like you don't care. So that's the underlining energy. So let's look and see then what's going on with this person, because that means you've cut your energy off from this person. And maybe you got to a place where I feel like you just got tired of their crap and them hurting you. And because you have, you're like, again, like that's the pain that's fueling you. And why I feel like it's the energy that is really prominent tonight, this evening. Okay, I need to see and like, okay, what made you do it? Well, I feel like it's like this person just they've been in separation with you for a long time, and you just feel like it got to be too much of like a catch 22. Yes, they're a person, but you're never happy with them. So you're more unhappy. And I feel like they just never solved any of the problems. They just never tried to fix it. It was like almost like you're being together and having like an intense connection, but never fixing anything. It just becomes so complicated and complex. So this person, I feel like they delayed coming back. They wanted to come back, but they also like delayed coming back. Like they complicate things too much. And I feel like it's because you've gotten to a point where you're like, either you're going to need to respect me and give me what I need, or get the F out of my life. It's almost like that's where you're at. And this person like is a little bit like taken back by the fact that you're like that, because they don't know you to be that way. And you're like, I've always told them. You might have always taken them back. You might have always, they just always felt like they could. Where now I feel like now they put so much strain, like the strain on the relationship is because of them constantly like going against you, constantly. It's like they make it like difficult. So you're like, I'm with this person and I feel disrespected. I feel like my feelings don't matter. I feel like this person likes to get underneath my skin. They do. It's all control. It's all control. It's all like through, creating tension and strain that's unnecessary, which causes intimacy issues because this person actually has intimacy issues. So, afraid of getting that close, but it's technically impossible not to get that close to someone that you feel a past life connection to. You already have that connection. So, it's almost like you feel them, you see them, and it's when a person doesn't like who they are and you try and nurture them, and you try and like accept them. And if they don't love themselves, well, they're going to do things to self sabotage the connection, which is put unnecessary strain on a relationship. However, you can't have that and still have like this intimacy, right? Like, which is what this person focuses too much on, which to them is, hey, if they can have this, you know, physical connection, well, then everything's okay. But that's not the type of connection that you want, and that's the problem. You two have very strong ESP connection, so there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of chemistry, but it needs to be elevated, and that's the thing. So when I ask, it's again, there's still like it's all about this problem, this person having a problem opening up. And it's all about the intimacy. And that's what I'm saying to you. It's like that's what the problem is. It's not that this person doesn't have feelings for you, but when they get close within the relationship, it's like they self-sabotage it so that they get like little bit of room. So and the thing is, it's like any type of expectation this person has a problem with, and that's the thing that's really kind of unfair. It's a one becomes like a one-sided relationship. But again, there's unconditional love. I'm not going to say that there's not. It's a soulmate connection. It doesn't logically make sense. And trying to logically make sense out of something that doesn't make sense, because you'd be like, well, who gets a soulmate that doesn't know how to emotionally say anything, that avoids, that creates problems? It's again, we all do. It's the way that we learn. If we have wounds, so it's to understand that you have wounds, you're attracting this person to you for the wounds, which we will get to, but we're going to see what this person's going to do first, because we want to know, and then we're going to see, what the healing is, and whether it could even be shape shifted. You know what I mean? If you're dealing with betrayal energy, we're not going to want to do that. But if it's something where the person is just low vibing because they're afraid to get deep into a relationship because of past relationships, and they haven't screwed up the relation completely, then again they can heal it. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Yeah, this person, I like, again, I'm sorry, but this person that still has like love for you. Like it's a spiritual connection. It keeps saying it over and over and over again. So we have to say, look at the spiritual cards and say, well, is this person going to do anything? Are they going to be able to fix themselves? Is there any awareness? We also have to look and see what the spiritual blocks are, though, too, because they're going to be there. Just because a person's a soulmate doesn't mean, hey, nature, doesn't mean that, there's no healing to be done. There's always like more than one thing. So that what it is this, I want to hold you in my arms and feel our bodies unite as one. So again, the sexual energy is going to be there because, listen, this person's not on a high vibration. What do you think spirit says? People people have to move somehow, and it's the attraction, it's the passion, it's what you might be, what you could be, it's the fantasy, it's the soulmate relationship. We have this deep connection, and it doesn't logically make sense, and I don't have control over it. So it's very like, when I let myself go deeper into thought of you, my heart opens. I'm trying to understand how my thoughts create my reality. I know I need to stay positive. Are you? Where this person's starting to realize that they're the problem. Like, you know what I mean? And that they get in their own way and think, well, do you get as nervous? Do you do that? Do you say one thing and then mean another? Are you as open and transparent as you could be? And you're like, how can I be when I'm dealing with that? And Spirit says, that's it. Please don't give up on me. I'm trying to change, but it takes time. See, it's not going to be a one and done. Like it's like you got to think like you're retraining a child, because whatever happened in this person's childhood, they were not allowed to show vulnerability. They were not allowed to go that deep. Now, understand, betrayal in childhood does that. You know that it's the so the attachment style was not a good attachment style. This person has fear of abandonment. So there is deeper things. It's not like this person just is like, I'm not going to show you my feelings. This person feels inadequate. They were told that their feelings, the feelings were not good to have. It's very dated, right? Very dated, that people like didn't weren't allowed. You are in your old patterns again, but can't see it. So this person again, where the problem with the vulnerability. If they don't show vulnerability, it's going to be a problem because they're not going to be transparent. So this is what you're always going to have a problem with this person, because it's reconditioning a person. Whereas the best way to make that is to not have any expectation. The moment that you have expectation, the person's going to, like I said, flee the other way. Like this person believes that like there's some cosmic energy that will like, and I know that this doesn't sound logic, but it's like they just believe that if you're really their person, and they feel that because there's a connection, they will like, and believe me, it's not like this person that hasn't tried to walk away. They're emotionally cut off. They don't know how to let those real feelings in. It's much easier for this person to run away. And so I know that they tried. So understand, because they still have feelings, they believe that there's a greater force at hand. And I don't think that this person is into spirituality like that, where they're like, oh yeah, the planets are aligning to activate us. No, I don't think that, but they know that it's healing, that there's still, this deeper knowing, claircognizance again, that you mean something on a deeper level, because they've tried to walk away. They don't want to feel these feelings. These feelings are annoying. They're crippling for a person that has cut themselves off. It's like they feel ashamed of their feelings. Imagine, like, ever meet a person that walks around angry? Remember back in high school, the kids that walk, they try to act so tough. They walk around so angry. I'm so angry, and like you were supposed to think, oh, you're scary. Oh, don't approach you. You don't have feelings. Like it's kind of like that. It's like that this person has like, where's that? Because that's what they showed. Not that they're walking around angry, but that they don't have feelings. And it's like that's you're stupid. It's like you have feelings. You were taught wrong. It's like because everyone has feelings. I need to be strong in who I am before I can merge my energy with yours in the 3D. I'm afraid I could lose myself in this relationship, which they can, because again, they're fragmented. Again, a person that is not emotionally mature, well, you would be the parent in the relationship. Know that, and you would hate that. It would be like this person doesn't, you'd be their secretary for everything. You'd be their secretary, you'd be their cleaning person, it would be a compartmentalized relationship without the intimacy, because this person is fragmented, they wouldn't be able to give it. So imagine being in a relationship with somebody that it's like you get everything except for like the romance. The romance becomes dead after a while because it's like you don't show up for me on an emotional level. And this person doesn't show up for themselves on an emotional level. And that's why spirit's like, well, this, you're the perfect candidate. And you're like, I'm the perfect fucking candidate for this person. Like, I'm not supposed to get love, And then spirit says, there's love there. You're like, well, why does it look that way? And spirit says, well, there's nothing wrong with it. Only my love is perfect. And you're like, yeah, but I see other people, they have other kind of love. Why am I getting this one? And spirit says, because you feel again that you need that, and you don't need that. You again that you're fragmented. If this is your person, you're fragmented in a certain place. It's like you're not just getting this person. That spirit says, "Oh, you know what? I feel like you over there, yeah, that you don't deserve love." No, I don't think that that's what it is. I feel like the relationship's designed to trigger both of you. This is focusing on this person's triggers right now, not your triggers. But remember, the universe does what's best for everyone involved. You know, Sometimes I feel like you speaking to me in my head. At times it triggers me because I wonder how much you can see into me. Again, they don't like themselves. So again, fragmented. It's like I wear a mask sometimes. I don't need you to know how much I like you. I don't need you to know. It's like the person's like the Wizard of Oz guy, don't look behind the green curtain. Don't look at the bald man behind the green curtain. It's like, I'm the Oz. Pay attention to the Oz. It's like, no, but I can see the bald man. It's like, and that's the problem. So it's triggering because it's like, I don't like that part of me. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And you're you're embarrassing. They think my feelings are embarrassing. I don't like to feel these things. Again, family patterns. Again, what they were taught. That's the karma. The you don't show emotions. Like big boys don't cry. Got big girls again don't act like that. Act like a lady. Act like this. Act like that. Second chakra imbalance. And that's the problem. Second chakra imbalance. I'm trying to figure out this connection. I never experienced anything like it before. So it's again, that's because they can't control it. Normally I just replace the person. It's like, or the person says something and it pisses me off and I can just forget about it because haven't emotionally gotten a connection to anybody. But I tried to do that and I get mad, but then I start to think about how negative I am and I wonder whether you're being as negative. And that triggers me because I'm like, well, how much are you reading into my mind? Like the person's acting like you're a crazy person, like I'm watching everything about you, like, and the person is like, I don't like it because I don't like who I am. It's like you're not supposed to see like those things because you're not going to like me. It comes down to abandonment, where it's again, they're abandoning themselves. I close my eyes and I imagine you're here with me. It feels so real. Again, I'm beginning to understand what it means to be in the 5D with you, which again, that ESP connection, like I said, it's through the heart and mind. And it's like they know that it's something different that they don't have control over. They don't like it because it's like, well, how much do you know? Do you not like what you see? So a lot of overthinking. We have past life connection. Memories are surfacing either consciously or subconsciously, meaning deja vu. Like I feel like I've done this before with you. I feel like I've been here with you before. I feel like, which again they have, and they haven't gotten it right in the past life. So again, they have an opportunity to do it right in this life, but it's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of overthinking. Like over when you have a spiritual block, you overcomplicate things. It's like all of a sudden you don't know how to think. You do like what's most difficult, and it's just self-sabotaging energy. So the universe is trying to help out as much as it can by, there are messages being exchanged through music and movies, like that the universe will try to give this person symbols, and that might be person turns on the TV and everybody has your name. Back to you, Dawn. Back to you, Dawn. Back to you, Dawn. Like, okay, Dawn, come and get that. Dawn dish detergent. Dawn this, like where the person's like, over and over and over, they're like that they're hearing your name. And the reason why is because inside they want to. They have feelings for you. But it's like I don't really want to be that transparent. I don't really want to be that vulnerable to this connection. I don't really see how I couldn't be that because I'm not strong enough because of this connection where it's like again it shows because the relationship is showing this person where they're fragmented, where it's again, hey, this is where you need healing. If you want to be with this person, it's like the universe is like, listen, fucker, you want to be with this person? You got to do this. And it's like dangling you above this person's head. Like, you want this? You want this? Well, you got to do what I tell you to do. Like, and where intuitively this person getting it, but they, again, and they don't want to do it. No one wants to do what they're afraid to do, but love is the supernatural energy. It's the energy of God. It's the energy of the universe. It's the universal panacea. It's the magic pill to make people do things that they wouldn't do. And so the universe has like got this person like this, and they're like, who am I? It's like I'm not even making sense. It's like they're crazy. Please send me energetic support. Use the energy frequency of love to uplift me because I need your help. Because they don't even know now, like they wasted so much time and the overthinking. Well, yeah, did I mess up the relationship? I don't know what to do. Like I said, they overcomplicate things. It's like when you have a spiritual block, and you can have a spiritual block in math. You can have a spiritual block in any area of life. It's just like you're just over complicating it. And that's due to your perception, your life, your experiences, just not knowing. That's the issue. I feel the sexual energy between us, yet it's beyond physical attraction. It needs to be elevated to the expression of deep unconditional love, though, where even that this person knows it's like we have a deep connection and really like acting like an asshole, kind of, because it's like they're on low vibe, but because they're too busy trying to figure out the connection that they will never figure out because it will never logically be figured out. Where this person's smart, they think that they're smart. They're able to like strategize. They're able to. How do you think they get into relationships with people and not have an emotional connection normally? Because it's shady. And so, what with you, that doesn't work because you're like, okay, bye, and they have feelings. They're like, I wasn't supposed to have feelings. How did I have feelings? How did this happen? And it's because they don't have control. I watch you on social media, and the internet is my way of staying close to you and finding out. So super stalker again. They don't understand is how much time they put into you, and that means thinking about you. They're growing an emotional connection whether they want to or not. It's like because they're watching you, they think that they know you, and But it's that emotional connection that you want. You don't want to be with a person that stalks you. Just have a conversation. It's like, oh, it's so scary. I'm listening to my higher self now. A higher power is guiding me. See, that's how you know that this would be a twin flame connection. Even though you might be like, no fucking way. And usually by the time the person comes back, that's usually what you're like. No fucking way. Because the person is like, you just think it's like, it's not possible. They damaged it too much. They were disrespected. They did this, they did that. And then spirit will be like, well, hold my beer. Because it's like you won't have control. You may be like, well, I'll have control because everybody has free will. But to them, anything that surrenders their ego and brings them to God, which is the energy of unconditional love, is the person's twin flame. Because people don't just do that. And that's a past life karmic connection where the universe is actually helping to heal this person. So again, healing is not just one-sided. We've only read this from their what's going on in their life, not why are you getting this person. It's like because you're like, well, I need to understand why I'm getting this person. Like it doesn't make sense to me, which we will look at that in a second. I just want to see what the blocks are. Lack. There is no limitation, but this person might struggle financially, and that could be for poor decisions. It also, if a person, just isn't strong with themselves, hasn't invested enough in themselves. Money has no energy except for the energy that we give it. When we love our job, when we're invested in our life, when we're grounded, we can make that happen. But I feel like that this person, they went through like a bad relationship, like someone passed cold judgment on them. This person, uh, what lived in balance for a really long time. I feel like they were connected to a past life karmic mate, and they struggled with addictions during that time because I feel like they didn't get out of that relationship. It's like they were in a relationship with somebody that it was a toxic relationship, and they kind of tried to make it work, but the way that they tried to make it work was to be there but not there. And that was to suppress their emotions even more. So to kind of check out, to check out. So this person doesn't have good experiences with relationship because their money tends to get affected. So it's like they see relationship as betrayal. So the pattern started for them in childhood. That's really what it is. And then emotionally, they never they don't express themselves, so you know that they don't get their emotional fulfillment from having authentic relationships, right? Because it can't just be one-sided, so they get it through outside things, and I feel like that's what ruined the relationship. So again, this person has some money issues, maybe due to a divorce, maybe through again just past experiences. They're like addictive behavior, it shows. And so that when a person emotionally isn't taking care of themselves, they're going to take care of themselves that way because it doesn't feel good to not like yourself and to not feel like you can really connect because betrayal has happened. And that first happened, like I said, in childhood. But if the person doesn't heal, they get that pattern over and over and over and over again until they learn the lesson. So you'd be like, oh, great. Now this person doesn't say that this person can't make money. I feel like they can make money, they lose their money. Is that they're not strong within themselves. They can't, if they can get into a relationship, they can't keep the relationship. That it's like, so their life looks like a roller coaster, which is, that's a second chakra imbalance. There's no balance. We get our balance through our unique individuality, how we can go with the flow of life through the passion for life. The block in the second chakra is not just one's individuality when they look in the mirror and how they perceive that who they perceive that they are, which is inadequate. It also is, they're going to either have an overactive sexuality or underactive sexuality. I feel like they had overactive sexuality, but it wasn't based on love. It was more lust, that lower energy. And that's because if you don't emotionally show up for your partner, well, it doesn't look like a good relationship over time. It looks like it's just in the bedroom, which is what you felt like in the beginning of the connection, where you're like, this person only wants to be in the bed with me. I don't want this shit, bye. Like, and this person normally is like, oh, I don't care. I can get 10 others. But the thing is, now it's like those people aren't satisfying them because, hey, they never had this kind of connection before. And oh, how good this connection could be, but it's not elevated. Remember, they have to do the healing work. See how God's sneaky? It's being like, oh no, fucker, you're going to do that healing work because you want to have that passion. You want to be in the bedroom. Well, the only way that you're going to be able to get that person is to be vulnerable, to be emotional, to be where, again, it's a hard pattern for them to change. It's like, it's not an easy process. For some, it takes a long time because, again, they have to surrender their ego. They don't really want to do that, and that's it. So, well, we look first and see why you attract this person into your life. And then we look and see what you have to do, to, like, we look and see what you have to do to, transmute the energy. So it's not a one and done. Like, a lot of times it's to see, how did you contribute to it? You don't know, like, what you have to do until you know how you contribute to it. Like, what is the wound? Because you have to reparent yourself. That's what it comes down to. And so in this story, we see protection where you didn't feel safe. And so, again, growing up in an environment where if there was a lot of trauma, like, you disassociated, so maybe just not feeling comfortable in your body, not feeling safe. And safety could be, well, was what was going on in the environment. It might have not even been anything with your parents. Remember, people grow up during certain time periods in different countries and different circumstances. So there's collective karma, and then there's also family karma. And so do believe that there was family karma here because you didn't feel safe. But really, right there, we see a lack of connection to the physical body, the physical world, the physical elements of the physical world when we don't feel safe. And so that life is confusing, right? And so when there's also a lot of trauma, we don't just disassociate. Well, we go up into the psychic realm, into the imagination. So you became very intuitive. You have a lot of gifts from living like that. However, your second chakra was blocked. The water element is the second chakra. And that's who you perceive you are when you look in the mirror. So I believe because you grew up not really feeling safe and, growing up a little bit like detached and disassociated from your physical body, that's a survival mechanism that you weren't creating your life, right? The second chakra is all about your unique individuality. It's how we go with the flow of life. It's the passion for life. So being brought up with parents that were angry, parents that didn't have enough. And it's not a blame game, but we have to say, where did it come from? If we have a block in the second chakra, we know that we have a block in the first chakra. And that first chakra is our connection to our ancestors, to the world, to our physical body, all physical elements of the physical world. The second chakra is all about your unique individuality, who you perceive you are, your passion for life. It's the birthing center. You don't just have a baby to manifest, but you birth ideas, but it's your identity. So growing up in that imbalance was what it was, but it's also to know that you did get gifts from living in that environment. But whenever you don't feel safe and feel protected, you're going to attract a person that, is a little shady. There's only two energies, love and fear. And you're like, well, I just, you never know who you're going to get. And Spirit says, when you're invested in your life through the passions of your life, you don't have that much time to give. So it shows codependency. The second chakra is codependency because of lack of identity, where that it's who you perceive you are when you're not really that. It was that it's that you lived from a certain consciousness that makes you perceive that, when meanwhile there's you just don't haven't been exposed to other things. So again, your second chakra was affected, which is what this person's second chakra is affected, which is why when there's a block within that second chakra is when you get your twin flame, because what do you think pierces through that chakra? Passion, love. It's again unconditional love, that but person doesn't have control over it. So again, and so then of all the chakras, it'll go up. Like if you have a block in the first chakra, you have a block in all the chakras. That's the whole thing. And the twin flame journey, you do things together, but not until both parties are ready, and this person's not ready. So this is not about you being with this person yet. It's like their plan eventually is like to come back, even though it doesn't say that, is that this person's like overthinking, they're getting in their own way, but eventually love wins because it always does. However, Spirit says you're not supposed to be sitting around waiting for this person. You're supposed to be living. It's like because when this person comes into your life, you have to hold them to a certain standard, and that's by what you're going to accept and what you want, whether you want to be with this person or not. You should hold to this standard, because what they showed you was you obviously did not value yourself enough. If you, there was not enough of this energy, which is the second chakra. We have to pour into ourselves. How do you become yourself? Well, you have to invest. You have to invest in yourself. And that might be by taking classes, by hanging out with friends, by going on adventures, by having a love affair with yourself. Again, that where maybe again, if you grew up where it was just really restricted, you grew up in a restricted home. My parents loved me, but they were strict. Second chakra in balance. Spirit says we're all born into, again, collective karma, family karma. It's just because of our environments create our reality. What was going on for your family? It's not a blame game. However, were they able to create their life the way that they wanted to? Can you create your life the way that you want to? Again, that's what the second chakra represents, that you can go with the flow of life through your passion for life. So it's not just passion that you have with a person, it's passion of birthing something, which is going to be what pierces through that second chakra, right? So it's again that past life connection is that there is passion, there is love, there is that. It doesn't logically make sense. And so Spirit says, but in the meantime, you need to nurture the light within you to guide you through the dark times. Because believe me, when you're in separation from your twin flame, and like, it's not like you have control over everything in your life. It's hard. There's dark times. Spirit says it's your passion for life. I'm teaching you how not to be codependent, how to make sure your cup is full all the time. So again, you're lonely now, but you're invincible, meaning no one's going to stop you, because that's how your reading started. However, second chakra needs to be looked at still, because we don't need to control. I'm going to do this and I'm going to control and never leave my house and no one's going to stop me. Spirit says, you can do that through being in other passions and finding other passions and hobbies and interests and going out into the world and really finding yourself. Then this way, when this person comes back into your life or anyone comes into your life, you don't just give them a free pass into your life. You have to teach a person how you want to be treated, and you didn't do that. You just let them in. It's like Spirit says, so making sure your own cup is full all the way. And if it's not, you have to find that. You have to do that for yourself. Then Spirit says, um, know that that's it. You're integrating all facets of yourself. So the fragmented part of yourself was that second chakra of, hey, my individuality. I don't really know what my passion is. Why am I here? What, like, on my own? Understand you're not here by mistake, but you're here by God's grand design. The universe is designed. So understand it's that you have purpose. And if you're not 100% fulfilled within your life, you have to again find what that is. And that's a walk. You go out and you find it, meaning it's an unfoldment process, meaning the path unfolds while you're on it. So you can't visualize what it's going to be a lot of times. It starts with an idea, it starts with a passion, it starts with something that, hey, I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to take that class. I always wanted to do this. It was on my bucket list. It's again, it's the time for you during separation is that to integrate all facets of self, because where's your individuality? You're going to get into a relationship with this person. They have an overactive second chakra. You have an underactive second chakra. Second chakra imbalance. So a person that's over has an overactive second chakra, they're going to be real controlling. They're going to be like dominant. They're going to be sexual. They're not going to be emotional. They're going to be a little detached. They're going to be, like, have a lot of masculine energy, whether they're a girl or not, doesn't matter. You know, um, and here it is, your feminine energy, and like you're like, you like to talk about things, you like to again feel that emotional connection, and you know you're the creative one, you're the intuitive one, and so understand that you're dealing with opposite, polar opposite energy, and that the spirit brings people together so that you meet halfway in the middle. It's a compromise. This person has to open up their heart a little bit, and it's like, and they're fighting, kicking, and screaming. Well, what do you need to do? Spirit says you need to integrate that parts of yourself that make you want to be connected to a person that emotionally can't give to you when you're not emotionally fulfilling yourself. You're the chase is actually fulfilling for you because of an intimacy issue that you have. Where it be meaning, like, if you don't never get that person, well, then it's again they're avoidant. So the chances of you getting them 100% is slim to none, meaning you might be with them, but they'd be checked out. It's like, and that's because of that intimacy issue. So the only way is for you to be non available. Remember, if you're having a love affair with yourself, finding yourself, meeting new people, well, this person's going to come into your life. You're not going to ask anything. You're actually going to be like, oh, I was kind of hoping that he wouldn't want to. he or she wouldn't want it as, to see me as often, you know? I can't say that. And oh, why? I thought you liked the person. I do, but you know what? I don't really feel like doing what he likes to do or what she likes to do tonight. I already know what they like. It's like they want to watch TV and maybe go to that ice cream place or whatever. It's like I'd rather go to Tango. Carlo might be there. He does the cha-cha so good with those pants on. And it's like, and we have a few cocktails. And, I was kind of hoping that, it's like your individuality, like your identity, your passion. Thank you so much, Dola Salon, so it's like that you'd want that. You'd say, and that person would have to step up their game a little bit. They'd have to, do because now you have other options. And it's like, and then you really know whether you like that person too. Because it's like, well, you know what? I have other options. Do I really like this person? Or am I tired that they emotionally can't give to me? It's like, because let me tell you, when you give up, that's when they're like, oh, and because it's like you cut that energy off, and that's not something that this person expected, and they didn't expect to have the emotional feeling because they don't have emotional feeling for anything. So they're like, that this wasn't supposed, this hurts worse now. Like they're like, what kind of witchcraft is this? It's like, this is like, normally I don't give a shit. And the more time that goes by, really thought that I was gonna be, I'd get it out of my system. It's getting worse. You know what I mean? It's getting worse. Like, what is this? This doesn't logically make sense. Let me figure out what the hell this is. It's like, why do I even care? You know what I mean? This is where this person is. Because again, they're very logical and they can't strategize this. They can't logic themselves out of it because the universe is like, I'm tired of your shit, because it's like you can't navigate your life like that. And because then you don't have any deep relationships and then you're just collecting bodies along the way, you know? You're not getting close. Spirit says, in the time being, don't just go out and have a good old time, but always uh create time to like meditate, create time to, to spend with yourself as a highly sensitive person. I feel like you might get bombarded a lot. Oh, I went out. It's like I feel a lot of different things. It's okay. Take the time, journal, do your journaling because you can reflect back on your feelings to see really what you feel. Sometimes in separation, you'll get angry, but you'll also realize that you got triggered because like this person brought out something within you, which we know someone that emotionally like just wouldn't give because of their own fear, their own situations from the past, which you're like, and I had to pay for it. But Spirit says, yes, because you never felt safe, you never felt protected. So you like needed that attachment. You grew up with an avoidant, you got an avoidant. It's like, so you're an anxious attachment where you need it, and where Spirit's like, no, you don't need it. What you need is to get a life, to more things within your life, because that person has to chase you. And it's not to be like they need to chase you, but they need to open up their heart. And how are they going to open up their heart if you're always available and you're always there, and they feel and they see how nurturing you are, and clearly you're nurturing and loving, and they can feel it. So there's expectations there, even if you're not saying I have expectations, because they know what they should do. But then it's like, I don't know if I can do that. Again, overcomplicating things, like making it more difficult than it actually is. Second chakra imbalance. And so Spirit says, and it's time to let go of who you were and become who you are, where you don't need anything outside of you. This person into your life, you always have free will to choose what you want. Spirit doesn't care whether you're with your twin flame or not, only cares whether you learn the lesson. Understand you learn the lesson. However, if you're with this person, you will learn a lot more spiritual lessons because that's what it is. That person is coming into your life to help you become the best version of your life. And that's not done where it's done a lot of times with with triggers and to make you look at it, you get mad, but there's unconditional love for that person. You have a lot of passion for that person. That's when it's good, it's really great. And when it's bad, it's bad. I'm not going to lie. When it's bad, it's really bad because there's a lot of passion there and there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of emotion and it's all that energy that needs to be channeled and it needs to be channeled into purpose. Spirit says that second chakra is also about birthing something, creating something, grounding something, all things that, again, like it's a faith walk. Really, that's what it is. It's like because it doesn't logically make sense, but the faith is to know again that God is guiding you and is guiding the connection and is guiding to heal. It's to but you still have free will, even though it says hearts aligned. I feel like when it's the twin flame connection and you are creating something, you are birthing something, you are aligning, and it makes you aligned like to that twin flame because you're birthing something, you're grounded, you're in the moment. The second chakra is about like going with the flow of life. It's the passion for life. So the creation as well as that person, right? And then there's the third chakra, which is all about the God center, which is only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut, intuition, inner knowing. And then you're being led by your heart to give and receive of love, and your heart is opening, and then you're able to speak your truth. You're able to see opportunities out of your third eye, and then clear cognizance is that I don't know how I know where the twin flame connection already has that clear cognizance connection. They just don't know why. It's really because they are supposed to create. They're supposed to create some birth something together. And the birth something is usually something that helps humanity, something that like brings something that the two bring their the best versions of themselves to create it. They have to step into that. So that's what this card talks about. It talks about that, like following your passion, but passion for life, but obviously this passion because that's what actually heals the second chakra. Where if you grew up where I was scared all the time, well, that second chakra is not going to be like as functioning as it should be. Where understand that person, their second chakra isn't working that well either. If it's overactive, that's really bad energy. It means you're going to have addictions. You're going to be controlling. You're going to have a lot of self-sabotaging behavior. You're going to take risks where they're unnecessary. And so the energy looks like this. And your energy, if it's not open enough, where spirit's like, what are you doing with yourself? Like, oh, I did the laundry today. Or like I did a few things like spirit said, what else are you doing? How fulfilled you are in your life? How many other connections do you have? You have a love affair with yourself. Do you know what you want to do? Are you fulfilled? If I take this person out of the equation altogether, how happy are you? What does your life look like? It's like, does it look a little bit bland? Does it look a little bit bleak? How's your finances? Spirit says all this is supposed to be what you're supposed to be working on right now before your person's able to come back into your life. Otherwise, you'd be codependent. You did give too much. You already did that. It doesn't work. It's like it's again too much where this person doesn't give enough. So again, somewhere in the middle, some balance, somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the middle. Otherwise, the karmic theme is I always get people that emotionally don't show up for me. And Spirit says, you have to emotionally show up for yourself. That person doesn't know how to do that even for themselves. It's like you need to, again, to show this person and you become it and you fulfill it, you fill the glass all the way. Then this person there's no obligation. They just do it. And because it's again, it's what feels right, it's what feels comfortable. It's like because you didn't have expectation because you're too busy over there having a good old time with yourself. So person's too busy running after you, worried and having anxiety of trying to figure out the relationship. It's like, and that's really how, because there is love there. It's just, it's not time yet. I pulled it from a different deck, literally, and I got divine counterpart right out of the thing. Just came right out. So I'm like, Spirit keeps saying it. It's like that's your person. So you might be like, I don't really believe that that's my person. Again, Spirit says no, because they're usually your opposite and someone that you would not choose yourself. Doesn't mean you're not attracted to them. Doesn't mean that there's not. It's just that then they're not normally my type. It's like Spirit says, well, they're not going to be. It's like you don't need more of your own energy to heal you. You need energy that's not yours. And you're like, great, I need shady fuckery energy. And the Spirit says, no, you got to be discerning. You got to be grounding. You got to know that to communicate with this person, it wouldn't be that great to communicate your emotions overly. That you may have to, again, like this person's more logical. And maybe for them, they got to know that they better approach you with some sort of sensitivity and open up their heart. See, again, love makes us think and be different because, oh, I know that person. I can't say it like that. They're gonna like bug out, take it the wrong way. That's a like I'm sorry, but this is twin flame relationship. So God's like in God's hands. Like like and Spirit says, and just know your trust in life is implicit. God's greater knowing and greater love guides your heart and your choices. Your faith is steady and you remain true to your light. Everything unfolds according to God's will, meaning in perfect timing, divine time, not your time, but God's time, where you're like, so what does that mean? And Spirit says, you're supposed to be healing right now. You're like, I don't want to. And Spirit says, well, that's the problem. It's like, and you're like, I have to go out and do things. Spirit's like, you want someone to pour into you and you don't want to do that for yourself. I don't really want to do that. I just want to stay home and watch the TV. I'm tired after I work. And the Spirit says, it's not going to work that way because that person's going to come in to your life. And if you're sitting on your ass all the time watching TV, well, then they're just going to take you for granted because you're always there. It's like, and you're out of balance, do too much that way. So yeah, that means you have to go out and guess what? Have a conversation with other people and interact with other people. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm so tired. Spirit says healing doesn't feel good. Make sure you're passionate about what you're doing. You know, or it should be to better yourself. It's again, it's a grounding issue. It's a first chakra issue. That first chakra and second chakra work very much together. Remember that. So if there's no ground and you don't feel supported and there's a lack of connection to the physical body, then, it's that second chakra is definitely going to be compromised because you're going to give too much. And then guess what? You had it so much that you get sick of it because there was no balance. Spirit says you have to be able to go with the flow. They are enhancing your life. They're not all that. You're giving them too much. They should be coming in and, relationships happen over time. Trust is something that happens over time. People are able to open up their heart over time so that the relationship paces itself, especially with this character that's so connected to their physical body. They're comfortable with that. Remember, they have an overactive second chakra. So they don't have a problem in the bedroom. They have a problem with the emotional. And that's where problems come in. And Spirit says again, it's only about you. This is all about you time right now. Even though that it's not, doesn't mean that you can't date other people too if you want to date other people, but they're not going to be your twin flame. And which also means that it's not going to be as difficult of a relationship. But Spirit says you need to allow serenity to reign in you. The love that you have for yourself invites harmony to settle within your being. You listen to and honor and strive to fulfill the needs of your own soul right now. Codependency, Spirit says. And that's what would happen because this person is dominant. They have an overactive second chakra. They'd be controlling. They'd be, because they're not 100% healed. They're in the process of healing, but old habits die hard. So if you're not in that perfect energy, well, then guess what? You're going to be shit out of luck because that person is, again, old habits die hard. They're going to do the same thing that they always do because they're going to get triggered and fear. And the thing is, you need to be strong enough on an emotional level to be like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit that you don't, that you're a little annoyed that I'm going to tango dancing tonight with Paco and the gang. I don't care. It's like that's what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want to do, meaning this is my individuality. And I don't abandon myself because the person's codependent. You're codependent. Just your codependent will be like, well, I finally let this person in, and then they freaking fled, ran away. And then this person, things coming in and out of your life. You don't allow the person to come in and out of your life. Again, second chakra imbalance. The person's not stable. They come in and out of your life because, oh my God, flipped out. Guess what? They do that. You don't even notice. Well, because guess what? You're going to be busy with your life. So that person be like, that person doesn't notice that I'm there. It's like you're not around. It's again that you have to make the person surrender to their ego, and that's not going to be through a conversation. Again, the conversation, you could just forget about it. It's like the relationship's over because it's going to turn toxic because the person's not going to do it. That's what you saw. That's the communication doesn't work. It's the action. And with that type of person that has an overactive second chakra, you have to be the one that is the strong one and understand that's a problem for these people. They're not going to like it. The Spirit says, well, it's not about them liking it. You already know what the outcome is. If you do what the person wants you to do, you're not going to have a good relationship. They're fearful. You can't let the blind person drive the bus, because Mr. Magoo wants to drive the bus. We don't let him drive the bus. It's like then he's not capable. You have to be the one and not care because that person's going to walk away and throw a temper tantrum. And God says, and guess what? They're going to come right on back because they have love. And when it's real, that's what it is. They're going to throw a temper tantrum and do what they do. And are you going to be emotionally strong enough for that? Not right now. Spirit says, not right now. Not if these are your cards. Spirit's saying you're not strong enough because that twin flame connection is a tough one, and it makes you hold to the best level of yourself. And guess what? Sometimes it's not easy to do. Especially with a person that's triggering you, that's deliberately going out of their way. And Spirit says it's not about controlling them; it's about controlling you, especially if you're the one that's getting triggered. So it's not like you can't have the connection. You can have the connection in divine time. And that's if you step it up to that, you're going to not overgive and not abandon yourself and not where this person, believe me, when they come back, you'll be able to have everything on your terms. Remember, they're coming back vulnerable. They're coming back pretty much with their tail between their legs because they're like, I can't like walk away from this connection. So you have the upper hand. So you have to lay the boundary, and that can't be, oh, whatever you want. It's like you can't not give them the same version of yourself. You can't do that. You have to show them a different version. I mean, you don't get that VIP treatment as soon as you come back. It's like, I like you, but guess what? I have other things going on in my life. I'm busy. I'm not always available. And let's see what you got. You're courting me. Let's see whether I want to date you. And there's a little bit of that attitude, and it's not because of any other reason, but because this person has an intimacy issue. So because they have that, it's like you're not just getting the free pass. Gonna give you the $20 movie pass when you only stay for the movies for 10 minutes. I'd rather give it to like this person that likes to stay the whole time. And guess what? They buy the popcorn. They buy the popcorn. I buy the soda. And then we also go in and buy candy. What the fuck do I want you to come in and fucking sit here for 10 minutes and then fucking leave? I have a better time with this person. That's what you're saying without saying it. And that person knows damn well that that's the level that they should be on. They just try not to be because they're cheap, they're shady, they're again have a closed heart chakra. It's again, but they don't want to be that way. And understand that's always when the twin flame like it gets awakened because spirit's saying, well, that person finally is like, oh, why? I don't want to be like this anymore. And that's because they're uncomfortable. And that's after they've, finally gotten to a place of surrender. And that takes time, Spirit says. Rome wasn't built in a day. The person grew their ego like that over time. And God says, I can't just make them change. Their ego has to fall. I can make things in the universe happen to, remind this person and to help this person, but inevitably they're the ones that have to make the choice. And so again, they're working through it, but that's what they want. And this is why, and this is a twin flame connection. So it's not going to make sense at all. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Hello, hello, hello. Well, why am I getting this one? Yeah, exactly. That you get that one because it's like because you're blocked. See, there's only two energies, love and fear. So to not feel 100% fulfilled within your life, to not feel that way. Hey, Melissa, to not feel that way, that's why. Like where spirit says you don't need anything outside of yourself to feel whole. It's like where maybe on an emotional level you're okay, but maybe on a financial level you're not as okay, or another energy. Clearly, it would have to be like finances because this person's good in finances because they're not good at all when it comes to emotional connections. So it's again, you're getting energy that you can help them with. Doesn't mean you want to help them with. It's the fact that you're like, I've done healing on myself. So even though I haven't gotten certain things, I'm hypersensitive to the fact that I didn't get those things. So again, you're going to need to express yourself for what you need and understand that's not going to feel good for you because you aren't allowed to do that. Again, you didn't feel safe enough to do that, safety and vulnerability wise, where spirit's like, oh, you're going to have to ask. You're like, I'm going to have to fucking ask. And the spirit says, you're going to have to ask. You're like, well, then I'm not going to do it. And spirit says, listen, it's like you shouldn't be afraid to ask for what you need. It's like if you have a block with this, where else is that block going to be? Remember, that person's helping you step into the best version of yourself. Spirit says, do you think I'm making you into the best version of yourself just to be with this person? Spirit says, because I don't really care about that person when it comes to that. It's like that. If it's not you, it would be somebody else. I make you into a better version for me, Spirit says. So again, for what you're here for me, I'm a jealous God, me first. That's through you first. That's by becoming you. by again filling your own cup up all the way. That's why I don't care about that person. It's like that person like has to do their own work. And guess what? You might meet someone beforehand and say would be too difficult. It would be their karma. Then they would still have learned, spirit says, so I don't care. They're going to learn either way. And so at this point, they just might learn a little bit more. And so, that's what it is. It's all about healing, it's all about evolving. Hey, I missed you too. It's all about, unfortunately being uncomfortable. And but that person, when you have unconditional love and you want it to work, you're gonna do it, even though you're like, I really don't want to do it. And I'm kind of pissed off that I have to do it. You'll be mad. And spirit says, yeah, because you're triggered. Because you're like, I feel like I really shouldn't have to. And spirit says, guess what? When you don't care anymore, you won't have to. And that's the thing. The fact that you care so much about having to shows that you're not comfortable with it, because you were taught that you couldn't ask for that, whether it was in a previous relationship or whether that was in with family. Either way, it's like still a trauma, still a block. God created the world with its voice. You can create the world with your voice, but not if you don't ask. And so you're getting the person that you have to ask. They're not as emotionally intelligent. Remember, that's not where they thrive. You thrive in that. And you'll be like, well, it's very triggering. And Spirit says, yes, because you didn't have that. So again, how else are we going to heal that issue? We have to duplicate exactly what transpired, but we can't duplicate with the same people. But when you go through it and you learn, guess what? You're really able to forgive and let go. And then it's not that that experience won't happen again. The difference is that you don't even recognize that it happened again. You don't care, because it's like it's not a trigger anymore. And so it doesn't affect you. And that's the whole thing. Spirit says when you can go through an experience and have it not affect you negatively on an emotional level, and that you've completely like not even observed it, that's how you know that you're healed from it. And sometimes you won't even get the experience after a while. You will get it, however, for a little while after. You just get it with different people and different scenarios. Because Spirit's like, did you really learn the lesson? Well, you said you learned the lesson. Did you really learn the lesson? It's like, this is the fifth time I'm getting this type of person. I learned the fucking lesson. Like, and the Spirit's like, well, it's again, then it's to understand, are you doing everything to change that energy? And it's like, yeah, eventually you do, because you don't want to, and then you're not an energetic match anymore, and the person has to go to someone else that they can leech off of, because you've already learned the lesson. So you're like, I don't see you in that way anymore, or I don't feel it. But when it's the twin flame, it's like, we still have a connection. I don't like you, but we still have a connection, and the spirit says, well, again, we got something to work with, you know, and it's like, that's why you really have to be on your best energy when that twin flame comes into your life. You usually don't get them right away. The twin flame relationship is not a 1 year thing. It's a long time. It's like, or that type of relationship lasts for years, because it lasts for lifetime, really. But in this lifetime, it may only last for like it may like it lasts for years, but once you're actually together, you may only like last 10 years or 5 years, because it's such a tumultuous type relationship. Sometimes you can make it work, but a lot of times it doesn't. You got to look at Ike and Tina. You got to look at Sonny and Cher. You got to look at all these twin flames. And there's millions of others. Those are just a few examples, but it's like tumultuous relationship. but look what they birthed. They, yeah, that's the thing. It's always going to be a long relationship. It happens over time, and that's the thing, because that unconditional love is taught, like, well, that's really what love is. It's unconditional, and that's what it looks like. And you're like, it's again, it doesn't logically make sense because it's a spiritual thing, but it's all to help you. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. Thank you guys for showing up for me, and thank you to La Salon for your gift. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone else that tuned in tonight. I will be back on tomorrow, but early. I'm going to be on early, and then I think on Monday. No, not Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to do coaching. Monday, I have a huge party to do. Tuesday, I'm going to do coaching. I may squeeze some coaching in on Sunday too. We'll see. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Until next time, be true to you. Love you. Bye bye.